is a humbling and honoring experience. And to stand here today on the very road where not 2,000 years ago, so many from everywhere ventured to fulfill that desire to be closer to the Creator is a humbling and honoring experience. One more thing of note. This is a fascinating city.
Amid the unfolding chapters of history, there are moments when stone and spirit meet, when the earth itself bears witness to prophecy fulfilled. Today, such a moment has arrived. At the commissioning of the pilgrimage road, the ancient path once walked by worshippers ascending to the temple, a voice rose that bridged the present and the eternal. Senator Marco Rubio stood not only as a statesman, but as a messenger moved by conviction, speaking words that carried the cadence of Scripture and the fire of faith. Before this sacred road, unearthed after centuries beneath Jerusalem's soil, his message was more than ceremony. It was a declaration, a reminder that Israel's covenant endures, that prophecy walks beside archaeology, and that destiny still breathes through the dust of the holy city. Tonight, we listen, not to politics, but to purpose. As Rubio's voice echoes through Jerusalem's stones, one truth resounds. The past is not forgotten. It is awakened.
Thank you very much. It's truly a pleasure and an honor to be here today on this important occasion. It's Mr. Prime Minister and Ms. First Lady, thank you for joining us. To my wife, Jeanette, who has also been able to be a part of it and has been a big supporter and frequent visitor as well here to this such a special project. To our ambassador, Ms. Huckabee, thank you as well for joining us here tonight. I come on behalf of the United States of America and of our president, who I spoke to about 2 hours ago and told him I would be visiting here, who sends his highest regards and deepest admiration and congratulations on what is being celebrated here this evening. I come as the Secretary of State as a nation that was founded 249 years ago, 250 years next year. We'll be celebrating that. I know that that is young by your standards, but from our purposes, it's a special occasion. One in which it's important for us to be reminded upon what it is our nation, the United States, was founded on. The United States was founded on a powerful idea, defined not by geography, ethnicity, or anything else. It was founded on the very powerful principle that the rights of mankind comes from their Creator. Now, perhaps that principle today is taken for granted. But when those words were written 250 years ago, it was a revolutionary idea. Up until that point, every man, woman, and child largely that had ever lived on the earth was governed by people they did not choose and had no role in picking, and over whom they had little influence. And change came not through elections or at the ballot box, but through wars and through conquest. And so the idea that somehow our rights, our dignity, our value as a human being was rooted in the fact that our rights came from our Creator. That was a revolutionary idea 250 years ago, one that I believe helped change the world. But that idea did not come from the ether. It did not come from someone's imagination. It was deeply rooted in the traditions, in the teachings of ancient words, thousands and thousands of years, that find its genesis here, literally on the very spot on which I stand. For it was here that God fulfilled His promise to His people. It was here that the lessons that form the base rock and the foundations of our laws, of the principles upon which we decide what is right and what is wrong, was built upon. If you think about the things that today we in civilized societies use as rules to govern us, these things did not come because good people wrote them. They came because they were rooted in ancient teachings that found its genesis here, not just in the city, but literally on the very spot on which we stand. It's an interesting thing about humanity. Almost anywhere in the world you go, and there are some incredible archaeological sites around the planet, I believe none as important as this one. But it is stunning how many of these archaeological sites, be they pyramids in Central America or pyramids in Egypt not far from here, or in some ways all defined by the desire to get closer to the divine. Something is programmed in the DNA of us as creatures that yearns to be closer to our Creator. This has been true across societies forever. But it was here, where a road led God's people to their Creator. It was here that a road led them to be as close as they possibly could, not just to the Creator of our species, but of the heavens and the earth and all the universe. And it strikes me as we stand here today to inaugurate this pilgrimage road, we are reminded that truly we are all pilgrims, seeking our own road towards our Creator, towards the divine. For deep inside of us, we all know that we were created for a purpose and for a reason, that our dignity comes from our Creator. We deeply believe in our country as a founding principle from the God of Abraham and Isaac. And to stand here today on the very road where not 2,000 years ago, so many from everywhere ventured to fulfill that desire to be closer to the Creator is a humbling and honoring experience. One more thing of note. This is a fascinating city. I joke, but maybe not joke, that I live in Miami. If you dig a couple feet, you'll hit coral rock. Here, if you dig a couple feet, you'll hit history. So much of the city has been described to be almost as a birthday cake. Layers and layers of human history. And for that, we're incredibly grateful. To be able to see the work that went into this project and to see not just stones, not just ruins, but from this very site to be able to touch a road and stones and the remnants of construction that give word and give life to teachings that we've heard our entire life. To be able to touch and walk upon roads and stand next to not just symbols, not just historic artifacts, but to things that bring to life the ancient lessons and ancient teachings that have guided our societies for thousands of years, without which America, an exceptional nation, never would have been possible, is a humbling and moving experience. But one more thing is striking. As you go through the layers of history, you realize that all the civilizations that conquered this city, all the ones who tore it down and built on top, are all gone. The Roman Empire is no more, nor any of the others that sought to conquer and rule this land. But one people remain. They have returned. For God's promise is eternal, and it is perfect, and His word is always true. And I'm honored to be a part of its fulfillment here with you tonight. Thank you.
As the final words of Senator Rubio fade into the Jerusalem evening, the ancient stones seem to answer, not with sound, but with memory. This road, once buried beneath centuries of silence, has spoken again. And in its unveiling, we are reminded that prophecy is not bound to parchment or past tense. It walks beside us, living, breathing, unfolding. Rubio's message, though wrapped in the language of diplomacy, carried a deeper resonance, that Israel's story is not over, that every discovery, every reconstruction, is part of a divine rhythm still in motion. The pilgrimage road is more than archaeology, it is testimony, proof that what was written endures. So as night falls over Jerusalem, the light that began in these stones continues to burn, a beacon to all who still believe that God's covenant stands unbroken and that destiny still walks this road.